welcome into the show. You're watching Philadelphia Eagles Now. My name is Chase Sr., and as always, no matter where you are or how you're tuned in, we appreciate you for rocking with us here on the program. And coming up, the Philadelphia Eagles defense, going into the 2025 season, just got some potentially bad news. We're going to talk about that, but related to that topic, let's pop up today's poll question. I want to hear from you down in the comment section. I've talked about this a couple of times, right? The Eagles must replace more than 4,000 snaps lost from last year's number one defense with players who left in free agency. In the case of Brandon Graham, he retired. In the case of C.J. Gardner-Johnson, he got traded. A lot of marquee players are out the door with other teams or, again, in the case of BG, not playing football. So, fill in the blank here. The Eagles will have a top blank defense in the NFL in 2025. Interested to see and gauge where your confidence meter is at with this Eagles defensive unit. So at this time of the NFL offseason, especially as I record this show on this Wednesday, July 9th, a popular topic becomes coordinators to watch across the NFL who, if their units perform across the league in 2025, could become hot head coaching candidates after the 2025 season. These are juicy, hot commodity coordinators who could become head coaches this time next year. The popular names that have come up the most: Joe Brady, the Bills offensive coordinator; Brian Flores, the Vikings defensive coordinator; Josh Grizzard, the Buccaneers offensive coordinator, who goes to Tampa Bay from Miami. He's replacing Liam Cohen, who took over as the Jags head coach; Vance Joseph, Broncos defensive coordinator; Cliff Kingsbury, we know him well inside the NFC East, Commanders offensive coordinator, did a great job with Jayden Daniels last year; Matt Nagy, Chiefs offensive coordinator; Zach Orr, the Ravens DC; and of course, Steve Spagnuolo, the Chiefs defensive coordinator. Some of these coaches are on the rise. Some of these coaches have been failed head coaches, and now they're back making it work as a coordinator once again. So those are 8 names right there to just remember as we go through the 2025 season. As it pertains to the Philadelphia Eagles, another hot candidate, Eagles defensive backs coach Christian Parker. He is looked at as a rising star within this Eagles organization. He's looked at as a rising star all across the NFL. And if there is a team who is looking for a defensive head coach who is young, who has energy, who's respected by players, who kind of has some swag. He wears Jordans all the time. And his unit performs well once again in 2025, his name could come up. If the Eagles go on to have another great year on the defensive side of the rock, and I'm not saying they have to be the number one overall defense again, but if they perform at a high clip, I guarantee you Christian Parker's name is going to be mentioned. You know what we'll also hear when his name gets brought up? Christian Parker, Eagles defense. Look at what Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, Cooper DeJean, and Quinyon Mitchell have been able to do. Christian Parker, he could be a head coach, and he's a Vic Fangio disciple. Those 3 words have been mentioned a lot because Fangio has a pretty lengthy coaching tree, and his fingerprints with what he's done on the defensive side of the ball have been littered all across the NFL. As far as Christian Parker's resume, started off with Virginia State in 2013-2014 as a defensive backs coach. Then he went to Norfolk State, 2015-2016, same position there. He was a defensive analyst for Notre Dame under Brian Kelly in 2017. He was with Texas A&M as a defensive analyst the following year in 2018. Made the jump to the NFL, where he was with the Green Bay Packers in 2019 and 2020 as the defensive quality control coach. Did good work there with Jair Alexander. He then went to the Broncos, brought to the Mile High City by Vic Fangio. He was the defensive backs coach there from 2021 through 2023, where he worked with Patrick Surtain, who became the Defensive Player of the Year last year, and Justin Simmons, who was an All-Pro under Christian Parker's watch. And then last year, of course, in his first year with the Eagles, he made some noise as the passing game coordinator and defensive backs coach. And the body of work last year for Parker Very impressive. He helped this Eagles secondary flourish. Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, played very well. Darius Slay, played very well. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Reed Blankenship, they held it down at that safety position. He also helped these DBs learn Vic Fangio's complex defense because Christian Parker knew all about Vic Fangio's defense, starting with when he was with the Denver Broncos. And so he got these players acclimated, up to speed, and then firing on all cylinders. He also assisted in the development and played a big role in the development of Quinyon Mitchell, the Eagles' first-round pick in 2024, and the Eagles' second-round pick, of course, in last year's draft class in Cooper DeJean. Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean played so well that they were two rookies on the number one overall defense that not just won the Super Bowl, but dominated Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. Those rookies played so well, they were number one and number two as rookies among all corners in man defense grade. A lot of that due to the coaching and the tutelage of Christian Parker. Vic Fangio, when he took this job with the Eagles going into 2024, in replacing what was just overall slop at the defensive coordinator spot with Sean Desai and Matt Patricia in 2023, specifically requested to bring Parker to Philly. And thank you to the Denver Broncos because they let Christian Parker, who was under contract with the Broncos, follow Fangio to the city of brotherly love. Now, it worked out for Denver because last year under Vance Joseph, they had one of the top defenses in the NFL. It worked out for Parker and Fangio as well. But Parker, it's of note, also has the role of pass game coordinator. And he is a defensive mind who not only has to help develop corners and DBs, he manages the pass game defense on the defensive side of the ball too. And if you are to become a head coach, you have to understand a lot of the nuances outside of just coaching one position. Christian Parker has that to his resume too. And it's important to remember, helped to develop Jair Alexander into being an all-pro. The same can be said for Patrick Surtain and Justin Simmons. And look at what he did last year with this Eagles secondary. Sean Payton, one of the top head coaches in the NFL since he was with the New Orleans Saints starting many years ago, was also very high on Christian Parker. And so his strengths as a coach fit what an organization might be looking for in their next head coach. Young, energy, swag, confident, coaching ability, teaching skills, evaluation expertise, and the ability to connect with players, which in today's era, 2025, very important given how athletes carry themselves and how athletes in society is a little bit more sensitive now as compared to many years ago. Now, is Christian Parker irreplaceable? No. But him leaving would definitely hurt the Eagles organization, the Eagles secondary, and the Eagles defense. And I don't think it's going to get to a point where Vic Fangio is going to stop coaching anytime soon. Or at least I think he at least has a few more years left, whereas Christian Parker is on this meteoric rise where I think his opportunity to maybe become a defensive coordinator, maybe become a head coach, could happen sooner rather than later. So if he leaves to be a DC or a head coach, either way, that could be bad news for this Eagles defense after the 2025 season. These Eagles Super Bowl shirts were $40. They are now on sale for just $18. Head to chatsports.com/SB shirt. Get yours today. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button here. We continue to bring you the heat right here on Philadelphia Eagles Now.